Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Sally Limis. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. Who got boosted and who got busted? Lawmakers ask questions about companies that got boosted twice with the same application. Also tonight, Chinese nationals head to Guam illegally for construction jobs. And Savannah de los Santos, also known as Miss Marianas, returns from a pageant in Japan. In sports, 5,000-meter runners are on deck. Stay with us, we have these stories and more next.
What's the move? Kinda wild out. Catch a groove. She said, where you going? What's the move? Kinda wild out. Catch a groove. What's the move?
And there you have it, McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. The juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. The tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich, you'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Half a day to the WAMI and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, December 21, 2022. The head of the bank that cuts checks to boost recipients testified this week on Capitol Hill. It appears the bank was told to use boost funds to pay some unrelated invoices and pay itself too. Federal officials seized documents from the bank. Bank of Saipan's CEO John Arroyo appeared before lawmakers on Tuesday for his testimony on the Boost program. The Bank of Saipan is the program administrator who distributes the funds to Boost awardees. One of the hot topics discussed on Tuesday were external Boost contracts apparently used for marketing. Arroyo states the bank received a $340,000 administrative fee, which they used in part to pay for a marketing contract to publicize the program with a company called Nonstop Corporation. The contract was later extended to include event planning, coordination, and outreach programs. Arroyo testified the bank's administrative fee was not enough to pay the second and third contract.
When I talked to the Secretary of Finance, I said, well, the bank couldn't afford to pay, that second contract with all of the additional expenses from our administration fee. So he said, we'll go ahead and pay the additional expenses, marketing directly from the Boost funds. Just email me or send me those invoices, and he'll approve payment with the authorization to withdraw from the Boost funds.
Arroyo says the second and third contract pricing exceeded the $50,000 allocation for marketing.
Those would be a little bit more expensive because there was an expo. I can't remember the day of the expo, and then a gala event that same night. In addition, there were outreach programs where the marketing team had brought along photographers and people to take videos and things like that. So it was a bit more expensive.
One of the nonstop invoices was billed for $33,000, which included lodging, travel expenses, event coverage, meals, and even corkage fee. Vice Chairman BJ Attal raised concerns on the expenditures listed on the billing, which he says may be out of ARPA regulations.
They included in their billing or their invoice the marketing, regular marketing, the advertisement, the gala, the mixer, the possible alcohol maybe in the mixer, into the contract or the invoice that was submitted to Banco Saipan.
Yes.
And we understand Banco Saipan is just the receiving entity, and it's billing the Secretary of Finance. The Secretary of Finance is approving the payments for.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Which is some of the potential stuff that was utilizes against the ARPA regulations.
Arroyo states other outside contracts paid with boost funds includes Royal Soil and Fit to Lead.
Why did you have to ask for an approval when it should be a contractual agreement between Banco Saipan and these entities?
Because we didn't really contract with these people. They just all of a sudden came on board, and sometimes I would just receive invoices. And then I would send those invoices to the Secretary of Finance and say, what am I getting these things for? And then he would respond, well, this is for this, this, and this. And I said, okay, so can I get your authorization to pay them then?
Okay, no, just want to kind of make that clear that there's probably outside contractual negotiations away from Banco Saipan that they're just sending you the invoices and you guys are cutting the checks. Maybe to prevent any tracking with the Department of Finance of how these monies are being spent and who's getting paid by these monies, correct?
Yes.
While administering the program and being aware of internal guidelines, the Bank of Saipan also submitted its own boost application and was awarded $500,000. Arroyo states the award was given in 2 checks, and their intent was to distribute to other nonprofit organizations. Representative Tina Sablon.
This is a boost grant program that's intended to benefit small businesses, as well as nonprofit organizations. And the bank applied for a boost grant with the intention of using those funds to distribute to nonprofit organizations. How are you not competing with other nonprofit organizations that were applying for the same pot of money?
Well, again, these would be like small baseball teams, soliciting funds to support their uniforms and things like that.
You sponsored a $20,000 hole-in-one prize at one point. Is that the kind of thing that this grant would have been used for? Kind of,
more or less, something along those lines. Just something along those lines, really, for reinvesting back into the community.
So the bank, as a business, applied for a grant to aid nonprofits and got the full amount of $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, in effect, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody else get the full amount?
When you mean full amount of their request?
The full amount of $500,000.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who had got more than 500,000. Yes.
Businesses that applied for boost grants received more than 500,000?
I believe so. I'd have to.
They're not in the ledger that you provided.
Well, I think in terms of maybe common ownership or whatnot. But on one individual business getting $500,000, I can't say. I'll have to go back and look.
I can tell you right now, the highest amount that's reflected in the ledger that you gave us was $250,000, including the grant to Bank of Saipan. But you're telling us now that Bank of Saipan actually received 2 awards, right?
Right.
Under the Nai-Anamu bucket.
Right.
Did any other business receive $500,000?
I can't tell you right now. I'll have to go and look at the record.
Would that be in the updated ledger that you provide us then?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Did other banks apply for boost grants?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Were other banks even made aware that they could apply for boost grants?
Well, it was out there, Nai-Anamu. So, I mean, if a bank met that qualification, then they could decide on their own if they wanted to apply. So I couldn't tell you why they wouldn't.
Okay. And are you aware of any other business applicant that received more than 1 award? The same business applicant receiving more than 1 award?
I believe so. I believe some applicants had received a second round of an award under the same application.
The House Joint Committee excused Arroyo late Tuesday afternoon and met this morning with Finance Secretary David Attilig. Attilig did make a formal request to reschedule his testimony and have his legal counsel present. The House committees approved the request and ordered that Attilig return Thursday at 3:30 p.m. In less than 3 weeks, the CNMI will have a new administration up on Capitol Hill. Let's take a look at how the transition phase is going so far. Transition teams under the Palacios Apatang administration are just about wrapping up their reports on each agency and department under the executive branch. KSPN speaks with a team covering one of the busiest offices on Capitol Hill, which is the Special Assistant Administration Office and the Governor's Executive Assistant Office. Team leader Donna Flores says there are a lot of pros in their findings.
I can say for sure that these folks that do work, the staff, they do love their job. They do respect their leaders, and they're here to do their work and do what is expected of them by their leaders. There are a few discrepancies and maybe a few recommendations for improvement as far as how department paperwork is pushed and just accountability. But yeah, it was a pretty good experience for us.
The transition team is tasked to give a snapshot of each department for the incoming administration.
We were asked to just review policies, procedures, contracts, purchase orders, expenditures, just those things that the offices go through on a daily basis. There's room for improvement coming from where from our line of work. We have, of course, recommendations for safety, for customer service, for mental health and wellness for staff. Mostly disaster preparedness and crisis preparedness as well for the building itself and the safety of the staff.
The team also looked at other details in the offices. Team member Brandon Nicholas.
From an infrastructure standpoint, it is one of our older buildings here on Capitol Hill, so there are some improvements that can be made. Perhaps trying to find a way to make it more welcoming for a lot of and more accessible for our entire community. So that they can visit and still ensure the safety of all of the staff that are in the building, because there are certain situations that were brought up to our transition team in which the safety of some of the individuals in the office were compromised, but they were mitigated immediately.
Nicholas says these offices are busy and there is a lot of footwork from different stakeholders and community members.
And we're just looking at ways as a transition team to see if we can make improvements so that when the people of the CNMI come and visit, and when our visitors from off island come as well, it's a welcoming space and business can be conducted in a fine manner.
This team was also tasked to look into the CNMI Scholarship Office.
It was our first initial stop last week, and like she shared, we've been there a couple of times over. And we want to commend Administrator Mildred Camacho and her team for being so kind, welcoming, and hospitable. But there are also some upgrades and infrastructure upgrades that they can make there so that they can be provided with the safe and adequate space. And they did disclose to us during our interviews just different things that they can receive more support on so that they can better improve services to all of the scholarship recipients.
The Scholarship Office has informed the Transition Committee the need for a database system, improved internet connection, and more funding.
So it's more of just upgrades to their building just a little more funding, maybe just to have a little more flexibility in how they're able to appropriate, or maybe not appropriate funds, but reprogram them to allow for some in-house purchases and management.
The other members in this transition team are Trinidad Diaz, Tanya Camacho, and Bego Camacho. The submission date of each transition report for the committee is tomorrow, December 22. A shortage of work here and a shortage of workers on Guam appears to be attracting scores of undocumented Chinese nationals to make a dangerous and illegal journey.
The Guam construction business is booming, with some builds now costing up to $800 a square foot. Mark Baldiga, who is building a new multi-outlet entertainment center in the Tumon area, knows firsthand the struggles in getting things built.
And the construction issue here is I've never seen anything like it, Chris. It's a combination of construction coupled with the fact that millennials don't want to work, right? I mean, it's just nobody wants to work. The construction industry here, I'll put it to you this way. I needed electricians for this project here. I needed 20 electricians for about 3 months. I started with the Guam Contractors Association list of electrical companies, 42 companies. I called the first one. They said, "I'm sorry, all of our men are committed on base." They then had that same conversation 42 times.
The shortage of workers appears to be attracting a number of people who used to be employed on Saipan. Scores of Chinese came into the CNMI under a parole-in-place program and then never left. Others are still here from the garment factory days. The parole-in-place program was set up for Chinese tourists to travel here visa-free, remnants of a CNMI program that was used when the NMI controlled its own borders. But the program has had some unintended consequences: illegal work and gray area deliveries. When the Imperial Pacific job site was raided in March of 2017, officials found hundreds of undocumented workers who originally told CBP officials they were coming to Saipan as tourists. Hundreds of others used the parole-in-place program to deliver a baby on U.S. soil. In 2009, according to vital statistics numbers provided by CHC, about 50 tourists gave birth here on Saipan. By 2018, that number had gone up to 545, with 538 of them being Chinese. Chinese handlers even sold birth tourism packages over the internet. With the pandemic and casino construction now at a standstill, much of the work surrounding it has dried up. The workers are now heading for the greener pastures on Guam. They aren't able to fly there, so they're buying boats and spots on boats and making the 129-mile trip south, and then sometimes making a swim for it. They're not legally able to work on Guam, but with the military buildup, there is tremendous pressure on contractors for labor, and this can make it an attractive place to earn under-the-table money. 19 have now been indicted, 10 were brought back to Saipan to face charges, and 9 are still at large. Last week, at the first of 3 sentencing hearings, 2 Chinese nationals signed plea agreements. The U.S. Attorney's Office told the court that 20 boats with 86 Chinese individuals have been interdicted just in 2022 on their way to Guam. It is not known how many made it to Guam without being cited or stopped. In the plea agreement, the government recommended a sentence of time served, and the individuals have agreed to voluntarily leave the NMI and the U.S. jurisdictions within 6 months and at their own expense. Guoqin Shi, provided by attorney Richard Miller, told the court Quote, he simply wanted to go somewhere he could find work. And now that he will suffer the consequences he most desired to avoid, he will have to leave the United States. Mr. Shi went on to say that in his case, he did not abuse the conditional parole system or pose as a tourist, but first came to the NMI in 1997 and worked in factories and fields for more than 10 years lawfully. China is not currently accepting deportations from the U.S., and this plea agreement appears to be designed to make the departure quicker and less costly. 2 more sentencing hearings are set for January.
Coming up, CNMI residents encouraged to stay safe this holiday season. Stay tuned.
Fast, fun, and easy. That's how your home Wi-Fi should be. So start with an internet plan that fits your budget. Introducing your home Wi-Fi starter pack, also known as WISP. Enjoy up to 25 megabits per second for as low as $35 a month. Plus, a free router with your wireless subscription. That's hours of movies, games, social media, and more endless fun. Get your Wi-Fi starter pack today only at Docomo Pacific. Better together. Additional conditions may apply.
This holiday season, get your goods here with care and attention using Micronesian Air Cargo Services. MAX is all about connections. Daily flights to and from Guam, 4 times a week to Rota, bi-weekly flights to Tinian. We are connecting the Marianas. So you do the shopping and we'll do the shipping. Perishable goods, Home Depot furniture and appliances, even live animals quickly and cost effectively. Operating since 2013, check out our Thursday special to Rota from Guam and Saipan. Call Max at 670-288-6227. If it fits, we'll take it.
Subway just dropped an all-new menu of 12 sandwiches. They call it the Subway Series.
The Subway Series has 4 new categories of subs: cheesesteaks, Italianos, chicken, and clubs.
With a sandwich series like that, I'll be a happy Subway cereal eater. Subway Series. What's your pick?
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. Safe Rides for the Holidays, an important program sponsored by DPS that can keep you safe and those around you safe. The Department of Public Safety Highway Safety Office is currently conducting the Safe Ride program, designed to bring you home if you are not able to. If you forget to plan a sober driver, you can call 670-287-7328. A taxi will be provided to pick you up from your current location and drive you directly to your place of residence. This program is ongoing until January 2nd, 2023. Stay safe this holiday season, CNMI. A pageant queen goes to Tokyo and makes history for the Marianas. Armelan Goodwin has more.
Over the past few weeks, the Miss Northern Marianas delegate, Savannah De Los Santos, has been in Japan for the 60th Miss International pageant, where she placed in the top 15.
So this is actually the first time that the Northern Marianas has made a placement within all big 5 pageants. So within Miss International and like any other pageants that we've been a part of. So we definitely made history, and we're hoping that after this that we can continue to send more queens and hopefully place in the future.
Miss International is a beauty pageant that also utilizes the platform to focus on humanitarian issues.
So with the Miss International pageant, they really wanted all women from different parts of the world representing their countries to create a plan or a project to help with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So it's a project that they have where they're trying to end poverty and just improve the lives of everyone around the world. So this year for Miss International, it's a beauty pageant, so it has kind of your typical standard categories that we also have here for Miss Marianas. So we have our national costume, we have our evening gown, our swimwear portion, but we also have different areas where we have like a walking competition, a speech competition, things that are focused more on what we as queens want to utilize our platform to do something good in the world.
During her time at the pageant, Savannah advocated for a sustainable development goal that she has a personal connection with.
With my sustainable development goal for Miss International, it focused a lot on violence against children. And I guess this kind of ties into how my brother and I were both victims of domestic violence, or we witnessed it within our household and experienced it in our own ways. And so I really felt that with violence against children, it was such an important platform throughout my Miss International journey, just because we were advocating on a larger scale. And, you know, it really does start at home. And so throughout my entire time that I was there, I really advocated for violence against children and just being a voice for them.
After placing in the top 15 at the pageant, Savannah was greeted with many positive reactions. However, Savannah also had to endure harsh criticism.
A lot of people were very critical about even my weight. So it was my height, my weight. They felt like coming from the Northern Marianas, we were such a small community, so a lot of people were also upset about that like a small community made it to top 15, which was almost always rare. So there was a lot of feedback from the community in regards to them not agreeing with me being placed in the top 15. But you know, that's kind of how pageants go. Like, there are people who will root for you and there are people who will not root for you. And so I can't say I was sad because I felt like it was coming, but it's one of those things where I am still grateful for all the feedback that people are giving. But despite some people saying that I'm not deserving, I definitely feel like I'm deserving of being in top 15, and I'm never gonna take that back.
Savannah has a strong spirit, and rather than letting judgments get to her, she focuses on all the support she already receives.
I wouldn't be as positive and as happy if I wasn't representing the Northern Marianas and the people of the Marianas. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for believing in me, because I personally don't think we would have gotten this far without all the people, you know, without the support and the love that the Marianas has given me from the time I was born here all the way up until now. So I'm very grateful to all of them. And we made history.
Milan Goodwin reporting for KSPN2.
A huge congratulations to you, Savannah. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We have sports up next.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
The largest show in the Pacific is looking for dancers to work on Guam. The show, Carrera, an island, a journey, an adventure. This is a unique opportunity for dancers from Saipan, Tinian, Rota, and beyond. Polynesian and contemporary dancers for one show nightly, 5 days per week, offering competitive pay, airline flights, and even housing for off-island hires. Join the cast and experience working with a world-class creative team that has worked with Madonna, Celine Dion, U2, and Cirque du Soleil. Show now in pre-production. It will begin in March. Casting call on now. Up to 40 dancers are needed. Send bios and photos to casting@baldiga.com. Sandcastle Guam. Casting call. Apply now. Green sea turtles and hawksbill turtles call the Mariana Islands home. They are an important part of the marine ecosystem. They are under threat, and they are protected under CNMI law. Keep plastic out of the ocean. Keep vehicles off the beach. Use the Sea Turtle Stranding Hotline if you see poaching activities or if you see a turtle in trouble. Call 287-8537 and save a turtle.
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Bring your friends in for the best night out at Godfather's Bar in Garabin. Sing along to your favorite hits with live music from the Gigolos. Godfather's has daily food and drink specials, like Taco Tuesdays. The best pizza on island every day of the week. Located on Palm Street in Garabin.
Tonight's sports brought to you in part by Tan Holdings through the Tan Su Lin Foundation, making communities a better place to live.
Buenas sports fans.
A lot of the young guns dominated the 5K run at Bonsai Cliff. Let's take a look at this sights and sounds.
So this is our 55th year on Saipan doing business as Atkins Kroll Toyota. We've been celebrating the whole year long, trying to give back to the community, trying to sponsor as many events as we can. And we're kind of wrapping up the year with this amazing event in partnership with Run Saipan. So they wanted to get with us and do a half marathon and as well as a 5.5K to celebrate our 55th year here on Saipan. So we really appreciate that everything that Run Saipan does for the community, how they give back to everybody health-wise and all of the effort that they put in to our island. So this was a great way for us to give back. So yeah, we're very happy to be sponsors with them. They did all the hard work. We're just here to watch everybody have fun, enjoy, and be healthy.
The race was okay. This is the first time running at 5.5, and it was a good experience. It was pretty windy and the temperature was good.
How does it feel winning, being first?
It feels good. It feels good.
Any words to other runners out there, how to prepare yourself for this kind of run?
Just train, just enjoy running, and you'll get good at it. Yeah, just put in the work to get there.
Very long and very hard. It was hard to continue with the pace, and sometimes you want to stop, but you have to continue.
So how do you feel right now, finishing it?
Legs are hurting.
I joined the 5K to get more experience and to be a skilled runner in the future.
So tell me, why do you love running?
I love running because of the thrill of running with my friends and the other experienced people in this race.
tonight, mostly cloudy with isolated showers. East wind 15 to 10 miles per hour, lows around 78 with a 20% chance of showers. Tomorrow, cloudy with numerous showers and isolated thunderstorms. East wind 15 to 20 miles per hour, high 86 with a 30% chance of showers. High surf advisory is in effect until 6 a.m. along the northern-facing reefs for the island of Rota. Moderate to fresh trade winds will continue through Thursday with frequent strong gusts likely through tonight. Combined seas of 8 to 10 feet will persist through today and tonight and then decrease to 7 to 9 feet by Thursday morning. Seas remain hazardous to small crafts. Please be advised. The chance for thunderstorms will start to increase today for Guam and Rota and Thursday for Tinian and Saipan. The high tide will be at 5:54 a.m., low tide 12:23 p.m., sunrise 6:39 p.m. a.m. and the sunset 5:52 p.m. Now that wraps up your Wednesday edition of the News, Sports, and Weather here in the Marianas. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a great night, and we'll see you back on Friday with more.